That's garbage. Stupid girl. That's something you don't use on your children. You never use the word stupid. At least I don't believe in it. We're going live on Facebook. We've got a very special guest with us today. Clinical psychologist, senior lecturer, and head of clinical psychology master program at SUSS. She is also author of the book My Emotions. Dr. Natasha Riard is with us today to talk about teaching children the language of feelings and why emotional meltdowns aren't misbehavior, and how her new book, My Emotions, helps families navigate the messy moments together. Dr. Riard, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here again.
It's awesome having you with us. The book is incredible.
Thank you.
Why the book?
I think because it's 2025 and we still don't know enough about emotions. I think we've got it down pat for our public education on physical health.
Yeah.
Look to your left, look to your right.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what to do.
Yeah.
But for emotions, we're not yet inundated with that information. So I think this is kind of like my little start
Okay.
to get things going.
Okay.
In the past 4 years, I wrote a therapy curriculum for clinical psychology students. I wrote a manual for a project for mental health practitioners to use with adolescents in the community for mental health problems. And then I thought, hey, my whole area of love, like where my heart is with preschool children, like the younger children. So I thought, I'm going to try and distill all of these things into this book. Well, not all of it.
Preschool children have problems.
I think we can think about that as like early intervention. So I think sometimes when we think about mental health, we always think problems, right?
Yeah.
But it's the same thing like for physical health. You actually want to not have problems.
Right.
You want to do all those baseline things like sleep, exercise, diet, so that you don't end up going to see a
With the
doctor.
problems.
Exactly. So when you think of the early years, it's exactly like this. It's all this education, it's all this parenting, it's all the things you want to set the foundation on to prevent those problems down the road.
Okay, so most parents have had that moment where their child is overwhelmed and they're thinking, I don't know what to do, because parenting doesn't come with a manual.
No.
What gap did you see that pushed you to create My Emotions? What was the gap?
I think exactly that we don't know enough, so we don't know what to do. I think to kind of answer that question, we really need to learn a lot more about emotions. Yeah, and I think Inside Out was a very good start.
Yeah.
And I really like that. It
Yeah.
kind of, put them as characters. So I was yes. I was kind of inspired by that and wanted to do the same as well.
Right. A lot of parents try to fix meltdowns quickly because they feel stressed out, they feel helpless. Why is it important to understand those emotions and that they, in fact, aren't problems to solve, but messages to listen to? That's the important thing. They're not problems to solve, they're messages to listen to. Can you explain that?
Yes, I can. I will try.
Okay.
We all want to be understood. That's like the most important. So when we are upset, when you're angry, when you're sad, you want to be able to go to someone and that person is able to sort of look at you, read you really well, and then convey it back to you so that you can have that, you see, you get me, you understand me.
Okay.
And so I think that's why it's important to understand first. And as human beings, we're designed to problem solve. Like if we didn't know how to problem solve, we wouldn't get on the moon.
Yeah.
We wouldn't get to space.
Yeah.
So we do need to solve those problems, but it starts with understanding first, and then we can try and solve it. Then they'll be open to our influence because they go, this person understands me, so now I'm going to listen to what they're going to suggest.
That's interesting. We're going to carry on this conversation as we go to Facebook. We have a question on Facebook as well this morning. It's running across the bottom of the screen. Which emotion do you struggle with the most? Answer that question and you could walk away with a copy of Dr. Riard's book, My Emotions. Good for you if you have young kids. I think you're going to really need this book. I know I wish I had it when my children were young. I think it might have made my journey a little easier. We'll go on to Facebook and we'll continue our conversation. So the thing is, we're trying to get this idea of you get me, you understand me. But when we were growing up, we never had that.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Then I don't feel alone.
Yeah, because we never had that, and yet we coped.
Yeah.
So why? The question then arises: why can't kids cope today?
Wow, I don't know if we really coped. I don't know if we
Really?
really coped. I think what I want to put forth is that human beings in general are just very resilient.
Okay.
You know, no matter what, most of us will get there,
Okay.
right? But then a lot of us who were not heard or understood as children sometimes carry that pain till today. And we don't actually realize how much it still hurts us. So, for example, you might not even realize, like as a parent in the workplace, and you get feedback from your boss, and it hurts you so much, and you might not make that connection that, hey, when I was young, like I made this mistake, and, you know, my parents didn't understand that.
Right.
Oh, no, I feel like I just went so deep.
No, but that is very interesting. That is very interesting. So that's how your childhood relates to your adulthood, or at least part of it anyway.
Part of it, yes.
Kids often feel something long before they say it. I guess because, you can feel, but you may not be able to articulate. In your practice, what's the emotion kids struggle with the most?
I think they struggle with expressing the emotion that they know might get them rejected. So children are very perceptive. You know, they are very responsive to parental reaction or
Right.
any reaction.
Right.
So over time they'll learn like, oh, okay, being angry is wrong because it upsets mom or dad. You know, if I say that I'm sad about something, it might get dismissed. So over time they're going to learn, they start learning these are like the bad emotions, and we keep that down. And maybe these are the good ones. Like if I'm happy, if I have something to share, if I have something that will make my parents proud, that's kind of easier.
Yeah.
So I think that's the one that will be the hardest.
So kids, what we're saying is kids are going to hide anything that is upsetting them. They're going to bottle it up inside.
If they feel that it would upset their
The
parents, I think.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So how do parents then change that mindset in the child?
By changing their mindset. So
Right.
it all starts like a lot of early intervention. In fact, like we say this is a children's book. I almost want to say this is a parenting book.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
a book for parents.
Yeah.
Is parents, knowing this, parents then have to be open. So they have to sort of know that they have to create an atmosphere of safety so that their child can go to you and actually say the deep, dark thing that they're afraid to say, because we're human beings. We don't want to be rejected. Even I don't want to go to a friend, talk about my problem, and then realize, oh, I think they don't get it, and they're about to reject like what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And that's going to close me off.
So when you deal with kids that have these problems in your practice, do the parents get involved as well?
I hope so.
No, I mean
yes.
in the sessions.
Yes. For me, I would prioritize that. So I think for me, because of my own, like I think my own training, my own kind of personal view, I really, really want parents to be at the forefront. So sometimes after sort of assessing the situation, my answer would be, I think actually this is about working very closely with you as the parent. And I think oftentimes parents have to recalibrate, because the idea is that, no, I've brought my child to you. You have something special. You have something magic. Please help my child. But your child is, especially when they're very young, preschool, primary school, parents' influence over them is the highest. So actually, the person I want to work with is the parent.
But that's also, and as Asians, it must be difficult because we are conservative. We do not generally talk about our emotions. We don't talk about our feelings. Everything we keep inside. For us to say sorry is so difficult. For us to say I love you is so difficult.
Yes, as the parent, right?
Yeah, as the parent.
Yes, but we expect our children to apologize to us.
Yeah, and to say that they love us. But for us to, it's the younger generation is getting good at it, But for a lot of the baby boomers and people like that, it was tough.
It's very understandable because I think that generation was all about like survival. You know, it's like sort of post-war. I put a roof over your head. I feed you every day. Life's good.
That's how I love you.
Yes. Please, like, know that this is how I love you because I want you to be alive. Like, being alive is so important.
Right.
But I think now we're in this arena where we're all kind of, you know, we're alive. We have past survive. We now want to thrive. So we're moving into a new generation. So every generation, there's always something new.
Right.
Yeah. And I think something that I kind of want to bring up is that we keep talking about this idea of like Asians being closed off or like, talk about emotions. Like just go on Netflix and watch any show. Like even if you watch Gilmore Girls, even if you watch, I forgot the name, but like the modern version of Gilmore Girls, nobody's good at it.
Yeah.
It's a universal thing.
Yeah.
We're all hiding emotions. We all want to be accepted. We're scared to be rejected. That part is universal.
How do we break the cycle then?
By starting with ourselves.
Meaning?
It means that oftentimes, like, we're thinking, oh, I'm seeing strong emotions in my child. What do I do about my child? Actually, that is secondary. The first thing you do is learn about yourself. So you can't co-regulate. You can't help your child if you don't look inside first. You don't think about, hey, what's my triggers? What gets me angry? What is it about that my child does that just sends me through the roof? I need to reflect on that. And understand myself better.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Your book turns feelings into characters for children. How does that help the child, taking them almost into a fantasy world? Is it because children are curious, and that helps them deal with fears and shame and things like that?
I think the characters give a very good opportunity to observe emotions at a distance. So it's a little bit like when you think of Inside Out. You can go there, not take it too personally because you're seeing the emotions, right?
Yes.
At a distance. So it gives them a chance to kind of look at that and go, oh, this is what anger is here for, but not really like relate it to themselves first. So, it's like not as intimidating. You don't sort of go into it and like talk about yourself instantly. You have something to mirror or observe first. And then I think you can use that as a point to be like, hey, like when anger was like doing that and there's fire coming out of his head, like, what about you? Do you ever have fire come out of your head? And then that gives them a chance to talk about their experience.
Can they do that at that very young age?
How old are we talking about?
I don't know. The book is catered to whom?
I would say the moment you're past that newborn phase and you've had a little bit more sleep, you can pick or maybe you read that to kind of regulate yourself as a parent first.
Yeah.
But you would talk about emotions all the time, every day. Even if it's not in this book, you would point it out. Oh, even as a baby, a mom would pick up and say, oh, you're hungry, right? You're crying because you're hungry.
Right.
That is already explaining a child's inner world to them.
Right.
They're not like understanding, but you're like planting the seed.
Interesting. Okay, we're going to continue this conversation when we go back on air. It's going to be really interesting. We've still got so much more to talk about. The whole idea of parents who want to start conversations. That's Jewel and Intuition. We are talking to clinical psychologist Dr. Natasha Riard about her experiences and her book, My Emotions. It's a children's book. It's a beautifully illustrated children's book that helps kids and parents, more importantly, I think, make sense of the big feelings like joy, sadness, anger, fear. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Riard. It's been absolutely amazing so far. Let's see what else we can come up with. Parents who want to start this conversation, I think a lot of parents they wouldn't know how to start, where to start, when to start. Is there a particular moment that one needs to pick?
The beauty of that is that children will give you lots of opportunities to pick up on the conversation. So I think you're asking about how do we start, right?
Yes.
The best time is actually to observe the child. So in a whole day, children will give you many signs, whether it's like a sudden silence or, you ask them something like, come to dinner or something, and then there's some kind of lag, something, or they'll come up to you and they'll say something. Or like, recess was very bad today, So choose those moments, I would say. It's so much easier when you pick up on those clues, on those signs.
They've opened the door.
They've opened the door, so you be open as well. Oh, what happened? And don't problem solve. Because once you start saying, then you should tell her, don't touch your things. Then I think this kind of people just ignore. We're so quick to protect them.
Yeah.
So as parents, we are protectors, right? So the moment you hear that someone's hurting your child, not behaving in the way that they want to, we are so quick to be like, A, B, C, D, E, baby, do these things. But I think oftentimes they're coming to just vent, just like how we vent to each other, to colleagues. We come home from work and we want to say things about our boss or something.
And we don't need you to solve anything. We just need you to listen.
Yes. So do that first, because if you listen and you show that you understand, you go, of course you'd be so angry. Like, why would somebody just like take your eraser and like not tell you about it? Wow. And then let this conversation carry. You are planting the seed for them to come to you more and more, because they know somebody's listening to me, somebody's understanding.
Okay.
And then they'll be more open to your influence. And you can plant that as suggestions. So oftentimes we give instructions.
Right.
We're like, I think you should do this. Definitely do this.
Yeah.
I think if it's not life or death, it always feels like life or death for parents, right? Like we think we have to go into the school immediately and solve this. But if it's not life or death, I would say try to like offer suggestions. Or maybe this or maybe that. And what do you think? Because when they go to school, when they go out there, that's their office.
I see.
Like when we go to work, like
Yeah.
I don't want my parents suddenly coming in the door
True.
and talking to my boss.
Yeah, true.
So I think that's the approach that I would take if it doesn't involve like hurt or like, physical hurt and things like that.
Okay. We're going to go back onto Facebook and continue this question, this discussion. I have a question about parents, because they work so hard and so many families now have dual income parents. I've got a question for Dr. Riard when we go back on Facebook.
The Morning Drive.
Okay, we're back on Facebook Live. Don't forget, we've got a question running on our ticker today. We have a book, we've got books to give away. Dr. Riard's children's book, My Emotion. And all you have to do is answer the question, which emotion do you struggle with the most? There's so many I struggle with.
Same.
I could get 3 or 4 books, and I'll tell you, I could win 3 or 4 books for that. Anyways, I've got so many different emotions. You can see the book that we're giving away right there. That is Dr. Riard's book, My Emotions. So, we're talking about parents finding the right moment to talk to them, allowing this conversation to develop. In all honesty, with the way parents work these days, dual income, they're out all the time. They come home from work and they are exhausted. How do they do this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
This happened just yesterday. Everything that you brought up, I had to work from home yesterday. My husband was working from home. Children were entertaining themselves, right?
Yeah.
And then finally it was time to like finish work, of which we wanted to go out.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm like typing furiously. I hear my husband coming out, giving the kids like, all the good stuff that we want to be good parents. We're like, hey, like this is my countdown. We're leaving. And then you repeat. And then you repeat. And you repeat. And you escalate, right? You're like, oh my God. So it happened. We all had a meltdown. Okay, by all, I mean me. I mean, just to be fair, it's me. My husband was still calm. I was like, basically like I become my mom.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, talk to you all nicely, listen. I would, I was like grabbing all their iPads and going to my room storming. And probably the kids are like, what? What happened?
What happened?
Yes.
Yeah.
So exactly right. And so at the end, I mean, we resolve that. We talk about that. So these kinds of things will happen. Okay, we cannot, in some ways, prevent all of it.
Okay.
But the repair is very important. So obviously, later on, we talked about it, etc. And at bedtime, my daughter actually asked me that. She said, what, Mommy, why do parents scold children?
Oh.
Yeah. And I listed all of those things that you just said. I said, sometimes, like, we mess up. because
Yeah.
we're tired. We're trying to get work done.
Yeah.
Sometimes that day work is very stressful.
Okay.
And then after that, 6 o'clock already, mommy's very hungry. And then she went, oh, yes, you get hangry, mommy, So it's good to have these conversations and like share them as well. I think you have to do that because otherwise the child is left, a 7-year-old is left to figure that out. Oh, mama shouted at me or was angry with me because I'm naughty and I'm bad.
I'm bad, yeah, that's the
So
thing.
that's why you have to go and clarify and say, actually, it's me. I lost my temper. I was very dysregulated. I felt very overwhelmed. I felt we were in a rush to go for our reservation. I felt like you weren't listening, but that's one part. A lot of the other
Yeah, but
parts...
doesn't the child need to understand that part of the problem is the fact that they weren't listening?
Yes, of course. Yes,
Right.
but I think it's good for them to also understand like that there's two people in this relationship. So I think sometimes we forget that and the child takes all of the responsibility.
Right.
Right? Like when we're scolding them
Yeah.
and we're so like in a position of power and they're so vulnerable, they'll feel like, oh, it's all me. Like mom has gone crazy because all me. And I think actually it's our parental responsibility to be like, part of it was you because you didn't carry out this part. But we have to make it clear that the other parts that we are responsible for. Because remember, like it's so easy for us to be like, you better say sorry.
Yeah.
So I think we need to like turn that and be like, okay, you say sorry, but I also need to say sorry. Because it's not right for me to like scream at you in a way that's so loud that you as a tiny child would in that moment feel like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But, okay, I've got this question. I've always wanted to ask a psychologist this question. There are parents out there that will never say sorry to their child. I do it all the time. If I make a mistake, I own up and I say I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm always worried that my children's parenting style will be based upon what I do. Right? And I want them to learn the right stuff. So if I make a mistake, I will say I'm sorry. But a lot of parents don't, won't, can't. I don't know what it is. What do you say to them?
Oh my goodness. I mean, if I could really say anything, it would be please say sorry. But I also know that just as much as children don't listen, adults also don't listen.
Because I think they feel that they lose control if they say sorry.
It's like you give up your power.
I give up my power by saying sorry. I made a mistake. I'm no longer infallible.
Well, I think give it a try, experiment, and see whether you lose power. Because at the end of the day, children are the most vulnerable. They need to be the most protected. They don't have money. They don't have jobs. They live and die at your hand. So I think saying sorry once is not going to turn the table.
Okay.
Yeah. So give it a try. Experiment and see what happens. Because if you feel like uneasy about it, well, the next day just go ahead with your authoritarian regime.
We've got a question from our Facebook, which I think is absolutely brilliant. And I
Okay.
think a lot of parents feel this. Sometimes I feel judged by my kids. How can I relate better to them? Do I need to start saying things like skibbity and all that? Because children do judge their parents. You can't say no.
Yeah.
They do.
100%. The other day I had to go on YouTube my husband was doing like the opening ceremony for SEA Games, and I was trying to get my son to be like, hey, where's the comment section? And you just see his face light up. He's like, yes, boomer. Like I'm like, I'm a millennial. He's like, nah,
you're not.
you're a boomer, mama.
Yeah.
Let them judge you. I think it's so good to have sense of humor in the house. Making fun, teasing each other, like it's part of the process of bonding. It's like, again, like if you could relate it, it's like you go to work, you have nicknames for your colleagues, right? I think it's good to, have some of that sense of humor with your children.
I think at home you don't get that because when the kids give mom or dad a nickname, disrespectful. It's very disrespectful. But let's be honest, we've all got nicknames for our bosses. We just don't tell them. But we've all got nicknames for them. That's for sure. Some emotions are tougher even for adults. Anger, fear, for example. Which emotions are the hardest to explain in a child-friendly way?
Wow.
Or are they all difficult?
I think they all need some kind of story, but I would say maybe it's about like which one I feel sometimes like is the hardest to work with is, I think you named it. I think it was anger and like fear or anxiety. Because one is basically telling you attack.
Yeah.
And that is, that's scary and you're trying to hold your kid back.
Yeah.
So one is that. But then I think anxiety and is also very hard because anxiety is trying to protect you from danger, right? But sometimes we miss that cue and we think things are dangerous when they're not. So anxiety always tells you don't do it. And so that is also very hard because how do I perceive anxiety as a friend when this friend is always sort of trying to scare me? Then I don't want to be friends with it. So I think for me, my area of specialization is anxiety, and anxiety, there's a lot of avoidance. Not talking, not going to school, clinging to parents. So that part I think can be very tough because, fear tells you don't do it, stay home, this is not safe. And so that journey to sort of...
So where do the parents come in on this then?
I think the parents come in on this by applying two sides. I think they have to be very supportive and understanding and not dismiss it. I think a lot of times our knee-jerk reaction is there's nothing to be scared about. I mean, go school, go
Exactly.
Right? So we hold that in our head. And that's true. What they're saying is not untrue. Places are meant to be safe and we wouldn't, we're not sending you to the jungle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but hold that in our head. That comes as number two. Number one is really show them that for them it is scary. Remember, they're young, they're small, places are loud, there's a lot of people, even sometimes adults get overstimulated. So validate and understand them first, but you need to still push them a little. So you got to really know your child because then you'll know how much to push. So you do still want to expose them and push. Like, don't keep them at home. Yeah. If they're avoiding something.
Yeah, I worry with this. I've got to understand my child. I've got to know my child. I mean, my children are all in their 30s. I've been through this over and over again.
Yeah.
But it's this, I've got to understand my child. I've got to know my child. I need to have time for my child. But so many parents just don't have the time. It's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Maybe if I can sort of offer something is that there is some research out there in the world that tells you 5 to 10 minutes of high quality interaction is all you need a day.
Seriously?
Yes. I'm going to just talk, just going to put it out there. High quality.
Yeah.
So
that is complete focus on the child.
Yes. So if you start at 5 minutes. So if you feel like, I don't have a lot of time, 5 minutes of very child-led, you bring me into your world. I listen. I'm enthralled by you. You are Taylor Swift on that stage.
You're the
I'm
be-all
here.
and end-all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Start with 5 minutes. So 5 to 10 minutes. But throughout the day, the sprinkling is look out for that clue. The moment your child approaches you, if you can kind of notice it, put whatever you're doing away because that interaction tends to be very short. So it's doable, and then if you realize that, oh no, this is now becoming like, I think going to be a half-hour thing, then explain to them. Like, I have this 1 minute, I'll attend to you, now I gotta go back. So I think when they approach you, try and notice it if you can, put it away and just attend, but then also, know where.
Yeah, I know. My daughter and her husband do this, especially with kids when you're trying to get them off to sleep. They're supposed to be in bed. It's a marvelous thing how they do it. I can't figure it. 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
But they take the kids into the bedroom at 6:30. And it's that 30 minutes.
Yes.
The phones are in the living room. There's nothing with them. It's just them and the kids. And I marvel at it.
Yeah.
I absolutely marvel at it.
Yes.
So much so that the kids now don't niggle when it's time to go to bed. Because time to go to bed means time spent with mom and dad.
Yes. Yeah.
So that would be a way around it, wouldn't it? Well.
Yes, that would be one way.
Yeah.
So find a way that works. I think don't really listen too much to like, first thing in the morning is the best time or bedtime is the best time. Like you look at your own schedule, figure out what works for you because that's the thing that you're then going to do.
Are there the other thing that I used to find very difficult was when my kids would get overwhelmed. They start this crying, screaming, and then they shut down.
Yeah.
How do you get past that?
The only way out is through. So I think if I had a way, if I had if I had come up with some strategy that would immediately get my child to stop or to open up, I would take that show on the road. Like I would have a whole tour of how to do that. I think just your presence alone and just being there to show them that they're not alone is important.
Okay. We're going to continue this conversation because I want to find out about grounding techniques. Backstreet Boys, Larger Than Life. Hope you're having a good start to your Friday. We are talking to Dr. Natasha Riard about your kids, basically, and the problems you have with them, the problems that they have, and the role you play. It's together with a book that she's launched called My Emotions. By the way, where can we get the book?
You can go on my website.
Okay.
So drnatashariard.com, and then all the information is there.
And Riard is Riard.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Here's the thing. Grounding techniques. Can you explain that to the uninitiated?
Okay. I think to answer your question, right, when they are very overwhelmed or they've shut down, you have to know that their brain is no longer there. It's gone offline. And so your presence alone is grounding, because children are designed to seek safety in the parent. So safety and trust are like the first accomplishments that parents have to do.
Okay.
To send a message that you can always trust me, I am safe for you. So when they have these strong emotions, it feels very unsafe, because imagine what it's like to be angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what it's like to have fire come out.
Absolutely.
So now imagine for a 3, 4, 5-year-old, that's almost like new to them. It's like how you get like a cut to them is like they got hit by a car.
Yeah.
So it's like that. Everything is new, everything is big, and then they're in these tiny little bodies. So you have to create that safety with your presence. So you would go to them, go to their level,
Okay.
Adjust your voice. Sometimes you don't even have to say much. Just being there, talking in a soothing way if necessary. So that in itself.
Okay. So you are... Okay, you're that grounding mat. Okay, I'm trying to figure it in another adult way.
I think in an adult way, it's like, again, a bad day at work. You want to be able to go to your husband or wife, and have a meltdown. Have a cry. I mean, I had a meltdown yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And my husband would be that source of safety for me. You know, because I have to go to him and then share how bad I felt about. Having lost my temper at my children. So I also need to feel safe and feel like heard. So his presence is also grounding me, right? The way he's listening, the way he's looking at me, the way he is maybe, comforting me.
Okay. Another question from our Facebook, continuing with this judgment thing. People tend to be very judgmental towards parents who don't seem to have control over their kids. Oh, you're talking about me? Of course you are. Especially when they're having meltdowns. How do we handle situations like that?
You mean like us as the parent, or us as the parent watching the other parents?
The parent watching the other parent. Is it really any of our business in the first place? Seriously.
I think it's such an embarrassing thing. I've had that experience. I feel like if anybody was at Plaza Singapura about 4 years ago, you might have seen me standing at the Boost Juice queue.
Right.
And, maybe that flavor was not available.
Yeah.
And one of my children, epic meltdown on the floor. They're like, they do the Asian squat so well.
Yes, they do.
And then they do that thing with the W that they can do because they're children and they're so flexible. And I'm like, really? Really now? And everyone's watching, because the moment a child screams, everybody's going to turn, right? And I feel like in the olden days, you're like, in 5 seconds, you're going to hear like a slap or something. Everybody's
absolutely. My parents used to slap me every time I did it.
Exactly. So I think everybody's like, is it going to happen? Is this mom one of those moms? Or on the other hand, it's like, is she one of those moms who's going to just be like, oh, baby, and then sit on the floor with them?
Either way, you're wrong.
Yes, you can't do anything right as a parent. And so because of that, even for me, if I were to witness that, I feel like inside me, I almost want to go to that parent to be like, hey, like tag me in WWE. Like, do you need me to be there for you? Not like for your child, but like to be there for you. Like, I'll stand there and tell everybody, hey, don't look. Hey, you know, like an accident has happened and you're like the police. You're like, go, nothing to see here. Like, if you see me out there, like you recognize this face, like if you make eye contact with me, I will personally do that for you. So tag me in.
All right. Working closely with families is what we're going to do. We're going to go back on air and we're going to deal with the fact that you work so closely with families. What's the one thing you wish parents knew more about?
Mornings are now.
So, what do you wish more parents knew about their child's feelings?
That it is normal. I think a lot of times, especially when they come to the part where they're seeing someone, like a professional help, is that they're telling you all these stories, right? And I think a lot of times the person on the other hand, like the professional, our job is actually to normalize that. Like I just shared a story earlier, right? That my child went nuts at Plaza Singapura. And so it's normal. I think sometimes parents are like, there must be something wrong. Like, cannot for half an hour screaming like that. Cannot. Like, it's just, you can't fathom it, right?
Yeah.
But that's what childhood is. You know, like, in fact, maybe just sit down and have a chat with your own parents, or even we might have our own memories of our own tantrums at Toys R Us and other things like that. So I think one takeaway is emotions are very normal. Even the big, strong ones are very normal. Yeah. Okay,
we've got time for one more question for you. And this is the one. I have a daughter who practices it. I have other daughters who go, never in my life will I do this. And I go to them and I go, you don't have kids yet. Gentle parenting. Yes or no? Why?
I'm going to do something one up because I don't know what people think gentle parenting is. I feel like it's still like a blur. So I would say parenting that combines unconditional acceptance plus developmentally appropriate rule enforcement. That's actually what parenting is. It's a showing to your child.
Boy, that's really well explained.
Okay, thank you. My job is done.
Wow. So, okay. You give them that unconditional love. You carry them through their ups and downs, but there is a framework.
Yes, there are rules, within. Baby. We live in a society. So rules are very important, but they have to be age or developmentally appropriate.
Appropriate rules.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm always worried that if you don't have those rules in place, real world is going to be a real shock.
Oh, it's going to be very shock. But I think also if you don't have that unconditional love and acceptance, the world is also going to be a shock for them because they don't have the safety to fall on.
Yep.
Because life is hard. You're going to go into many spaces and be stressed. You need to know that, okay, no matter what, there is someone that I can always call home. And that is equally as important as the rules.
Question from a psychologist's point of view, not a parent's point of view. Once a parent, always a parent, no matter how old the child.
Yes. And I think like that is the takeaway that maybe parents can get from the book. Parents who are reading it is, you are also a baby. You know, you are always someone's baby. You're still a child. So be easy on yourself, you know, and learn more about your own emotions. Like take the time. You are important and you have brought something into this world that is also very important. So thank you to all the parents out there.
Nice. One sentence that parents should say more often to their children.
I love you no matter what.
Is that really lacking in Singapore today? Parents don't say that?
I don't know if they don't say that, but I think we all need to hear it.
Yeah,
all the time.
I go back to what I said before. You know, older generations, that whole idea of I put a roof over your head, I put food on the table. That's me saying I love you.
And maybe sometimes we have to understand and see it that way. Doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. Doesn't mean it's not painful to not hear it from our parents. But, I mean, to each our own.
I guess. Thank you very much, Dr. Natasha Riard, for being with us this morning. It has been absolutely amazing talking to you. Again, where can they get your book, My Emotions?
On my website, drnatashariard.com.
Okay, if they've got questions, they can go there as well?
Exactly. All the
Awesome
contact
stuff.
info is there.
Thank you so much for being with us. It's been absolutely incredible.
Thank you.